This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your live market chat for, was it Friday, December 15th? The Ides of December 2023. Yeah, getting interesting. CTA is all in, sentiment back over 80. Oh boy, it's gonna be a interesting close. Wanted to stick around, maybe we can talk about that. Again, there's some rebalancing end of the year. It's going to get a little wet and wild. Wanted to just do this little live chat and see if you guys had any questions, thoughts, concerns. I appreciate all the love, support, generous donations. You guys are amazing. On that note, little pin action. I mean, we're going to stick to SPY, I don't know, under 470. Looks like Q's 405 maybe. IWM somewhere in the 197s. I mean, this is the thing. We could see an absolute bloodbath or a squeeze in the close because so many options have been sold and traded this week. Oh my God. I think they said $5.3 trillion worth of options expiring today. Oh God. Oh God. That's a lot of money. That's like 2 apples, right? Something like that. Anyway, appreciate, guys want to jump into the Discord room, a link in the description below. Let me invite folks. Put it in the chat. Come on, chat. Got it. Put it in there. Yeah, I mean, going into next week, I mean, it's going to be a lighter week, obviously, going into the holidays. Calendar-wise, just kind of digging around. I don't think we have anything too crazy next week. I could be completely wrong. But at this point, I mean, I guess you got NHAB, you got existing home sales, you got GDP. All right, PCE. Next Friday is the day today. Okay. Maybe I was wrong. Happens a lot. Hadn't even looked. Didn't even think about it. But, yeah, you've got some data next Friday. Personal income and spending, PCE. Durable orders, new home sales, Michigan sentiment. So, knowing that, and we're also coming into, earnings. Costco, right? Whoa, that put got torched. Luckily, bought it closer to the high yesterday and sold at the open. Took a loss, not a complete loss, but it's the name of the game. I got FedEx on Tuesday, Micron on Wednesday, the 20th, and then Nike on that Thursday. And then do we have, but no, please tell me we don't have any earnings. Okay, no, it's all earnings start on the first week of, not even really then either, January. So I guess the second week total, January 8th to the 12th. Right? So, yeah, see what happens. Right? Ah, man, interesting day. A lot of people hitting up about, what's going to happen in the close? I'm like, it could be pin action, could be all over. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of weird, and this is typical for this time of the year and this kind of situation. I mean, seeing a lot of interesting, weird action. Meaning pin action, but then seeing high volume. I think you saw it. Some of the folks, Eric was talking about this. Which were the ones that he was specifically talking about? Just, you saw him a lot of them in the semis, but for example, let's go with the NVIDIA. Like at the open, just had monster volume. That is 5 million shares, right? Intellectual property, right? At the open, right? That's, wow. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's 11.6 million shares. I mean, you saw some massive squeezes right at the open and then all over the place, right? A lot of names. It's all the same thing everywhere. So at this point, I would just say, again, if you have your shorts, hopefully you're wearing your pants. It's the winter. It's cold, and you're going to have to hang out for a little bit, in my opinion. A lot of people expect always the, return on investment immediately in swing trading. I would argue it's not that easy. If it was, everyone would be winning. So check out the Discord room. transfer over to the website, get your 5.4%. With Marcus, also get your, please, get your interactive broker on. Just be careful. Be careful. Bull and bear traps, again, if you're new, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It's worth checking out this video because, again, it talks about it can be on days and weeks. It's not like one day always the trap. Just be aware. Oh, here you go. China stocks on the radio. Like Twitter, also posting a bunch of stuff I think is interesting there. Constantly. Just keep that in mind. Man, there's a lot of junk on here. Yeah. Okay. That's great. Oh, excuse me. Some cursing in there. But there's been a lot of like little things the last couple of days I've been noticing, especially if you pay attention to what I've been retweeting. A lot of job layoffs. An incredible amount of job layoffs. Germany, definitely France. Recession, business inventory is contracting, PMIs, France, yikes. I mean, 40s, low 40s, not good, right? Look at this, 5.3. I mean, there's just a lot going on. So follow on Twitter for real. It's possible, right? It's possible things are going to get wild. Sorry, people are texting. It just never ends. Going snowboarding this weekend. Steamboat. Going to get up there, get on the boat, go ride. I mean, the mountains aren't completely open, but check this out. Little overbought. Savings are contracting. Feds basically lost all of their credibility. Oh, look at that NASDAQ 100. Double top. Close the door. I will not pivot. I will not pivot. I will not pivot. Christmas pivot. And I thought that was a pretty funny one. Again, talked about a lot of levels, a lot of thoughts, a lot of spots. So, holler at your boy. Fed Watch tool, January. Still assuming there's going to be nothing. It's changing day by day. I'm only surprised if this ratchets up. Right? I mean, March is getting into the lock territory. I mean, May, because they're expecting one March, and then they're expecting another one in June. Look at this. I mean, you've even got, wow, 2. You're expecting, wow, they might have a double. I mean, man, they're expecting things to slow down. I mean, here's the thing, right? Because, again, TLT, I mean, and if you look at the action, it's priced in, I think, was it, if I remember correctly, 6 rate cuts. This action in the bond market is 6 rate cuts, if I remember correct. That's way more than 3 that the Feds are predicting. Why is the bond market so aggressively rising? I thought it was a soft landing, right? Remember that soft landing narrative? Right? Huh. Okie dokie. Next support here, resistance. Keep an eye on it. Now, again, if you're long bonds for the long term, I mean, I'm not going to say for sure that I would be selling here, but I would be taking some profits. But maybe it's going to rip. That's your call. If you want to stick in them, great. It's not a rocket science story here. If you're in, your entry, I mean, it might be time to sell some covered calls. It may be tough to know for sure, right? I mean, again, if I was in this stuff, the more I'm up, the more I'm hedging near term. Maybe it doesn't necessarily have to mean you're selling. But if you've seen this big move, what's wrong with selling some like out of the money 102 to 104s a couple weeks out? Just in case. If we go in, lock in, I mean, that's the thing I tell them, like, if you get called out of this, and the market's probably giving you plenty of space to short some AKA financials, JP Morgan, 165, right? I mean, maybe I'm crazy for loading the basket. But the last couple of days in my mind have been just an absolute gift. Absolute gift for the JP Mo. XLF getting up into 37s. I mean, what? Come on. Come the F on. Oops. I mean, if you go look at the past and all this, and this is what's so crazy is that we know banks are holding a lot of commercial debt. residential real estate debt. They're trying to cut out HELOCs. They're cutting people as fast as they literally can. It's because they're doing well? No. I mean, this Thursday, here's what's like an example of the craziness going on in the real estate market. And we know this time of year is typically slow. Guess how many houses came on the market this Thursday in northern Colorado? Again, the area has, I don't know, within it 1 million people, something like that. If I had to guess, somewhere in that rate. Anyone want to take a guess how many houses came on the market this Thursday? Because usually houses list on Thursday, go live Thursday night, showing start Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? Anyone want to take a guess? How many houses came up for sale? Think low, like real low. Just pretend 1 million home market. 15? Not even close. 3. 3 houses. 2's close. That is boggles the mind. Now we know it's usually not a good time to list, but imagine that, like, what kind of work the banks are doing. 3. Not a lot of work. It's hard to keep a bank open selling mortgages, underwriting mortgages if there's 3 properties coming up for a listing in northern Colorado and you have all those banks. Right? Go to show you something's a little off. Be careful. Costco had to put into earnings. They announced a $15 dividend. Hit the upper trend line. Again, I just took it at the open, or took the loss. It's like, I'm not going to hold that put, even if it's 3 weeks out. Who cares? Just take the loss. I'll take a 50, I think it was like 8% loss on the option. Whatever. It is what it is. Sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. Was feeling pretty good going into the close. Is what it is. Airbnb, another one, short. Love this area up here. I mean, you can't get much better. Right? That zone. We'll see. Ten cuidado. Starbucks, another loser. Right? Bounces sideways. Goldman kicked me out, but still. I mean, this is unreal. Unreal. Right? We'll see. 5.4% though. CCJ, here's another one penning up to 45. Chopping. Just, it's never ending. New core guided down, rallied back. Look at today's action, right? I think X is going to get taken out by Cliff. I know Jay Solstice was saying, watch out. Looked like someone was buying puts on this. Not surprised. I mean, I think X has like 20 billion in debt. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let's actually go to the videotape. Let's not just speak out of our behind. Right? Let's be honest and do the work. Let's look. Financials. Actually, I like statistics. It's easier if I remember right. Yes, it is. Total debt. Oh, 4.35 million. Maybe they retired a bunch of it. Okay. Anyway. All right. Here we go. 4.3. I thought they had bigger than that. What's the market cap? 8. Maybe I was getting the market cap on this one. Not a crazy margin. No, I guess I was just in a whole nother planet. Maybe that's what they used to have. I don't know. Dead wrong. But, all right, so 4.3 million in debt. They have cash. Okay. Total debt to equity is not terrible. Current ratio. Okay. Man, they must have retired some debt. I can't remember that. All right. Hold on one second. Getting a text about it from a seller. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Bitcoin just kind of bounced around. Letter X, I guess, yeah, if it gets bought out by Cliff, I would like, actually, let's go back to that. I wouldn't mind Cliff. Yeah, I've got my alert down there in the 12s. I think that would make silly, stupid sense. Oh, excuse me. Just kind of like glancing at some of the other charts. Pretty simple. I mean, it's interesting to think because if you go look at the monthly on this, and another time before they diluted many, many shares, like this thing was a beast. Look at that. I mean, they had all the coking coal, like coking coal and steel stuff. I mean, they were just a monster in the commodity sector. Look at that. No shit. I mean, you could literally wait for that. Yeah. Keep it on it. Keep it on it. Because again, I mean, I've said this a million times. Once the feds officially pivot, commodities game on. I mean, I think the hardest thing right now is to think that you could be at a bottom without throwing the baby out with the bathwater. We've said that a billion times. I mean, I guess let's just go back to commodities, right? So Bitcoin, this is gold, Bitcoin. Staging, but I don't trust them. Oil, that's tough. I mean, this is a good area. Don't get me wrong. Natty gas, I mean, this is a good area. Long term, look at gold. We talked about, like, is it going to break out? No. Failing again. Silver, I mean, nice pop. Money has to go somewhere, though. We'll see. I mean, those might be the trades in time. GDX, I mean, this is where it gets so hard. We have credit issues. We haven't... Once the banks start having issues again, that's when it gets a little sloppy. And that's the thing, right? I mean, you got to admit, you like this area up here. I mean, let's just extend this box to here. I mean, long term... Now, this is the thing, right? If you zoom out forever, you know this area matters. It's on my charts. It's the show me the money zone. I mean, it would be rather spectacular. I was gonna say, like, interesting trend line. Somewhere in this low 20s range. That to me would be like the absolute steal. But you might even go lower, because this is the thing. If you've seen credit crunches, I mean, look at this candle here. Look at COVID. 32 down to 16, right? 2008. 52 down to 16. 16 seems to be the floor. Catch my drift on that? So, I don't know. This is tough. I mean, I can't personally wrap my head around buying these things, because I've seen, and this is where, again, I could be dead wrong, and someone's going to be like, oh, you were wrong. And it's like, man, I have been burned on these things more times than not, trying to, like, not more times than not, but more times than not long-term trading them without seeing a monster capitulation. Now, we know this looks like a head and shoulders bottom, and we talked about it. It's like due to bounce. We'll just see. Is the market going to continue ripping? It's a question you have to ask yourself. All right. Just speaking of. So we got the dollar snapping back. Makes a new low. Bouncing back. Watch the low 29s. The VIX. I mean, I am mind-boggled here, but it is compressing. It's giving you good risk reward. That's what I talk about. If you're buying puts, give yourself at least mid-late January. Vixen, holding. Vivix, look at this. Anyone notice the Vivix today? Something's cooking. Right? SPY, 469. I mean, it just seems to be stuck here. The Momo high. I mean, doji. Look at the volumes. I imagine the volume is going to be absolutely monstrous today. So what are we at? 912 million shares or some shit. I can't count that many decimal points. Yeah. So we'll do 1 billion in shares easily. Think about it right now. It's 3:36 Eastern Standard. Curious if we get like a quarter billion in shares in the last 20 minutes. God, dude, come on, man. I'm busy. Can't be calling me all day. If I don't answer, I don't answer. Applesauce, like the short up here. Amazon, like the short up here. Right? Up against channel highs. Guggenheim, that was always good. Been just nothing burger. Microsoft catching a bid today. Okay. NDAQ, if you shorted this, hell yeah. Look at another trap. What a turd. Netflix and Spill hits the 480s again. Tesla holding up. You got to give it credit. Coming into this trend line. Watch it. SMH, I mean, mind boggled. It's even up here. I don't know how. I mean, if this is one way to go out, it's MC hammer time. NVIDIA got stopped out of this one for basically where I got in. I was like, whatever. Today, probably a trap. Good job. You guys knocked me out. AM Dizzle, good job. If you're trading, I mean, it looks tight up here. It looks like a decent trade. Micron, some folks were looking at this. Makes sense to me. Novice gap, outside reversal. I mean, if it gets below 80, 86 by the close, that would help. Taiwan semi, 104.75. Like, that's funny. I remember that area, 105. Yeah. Not a lot to talk about. Again, I mean, I'm watching financials starting to turn over again. Just keep an eye on these names into the close. Any other thoughts, questions, concerns? I mean, there's always something to talk about. Love to help out. Love to help out. Any other thoughts, questions, concerns? Patience, grasshopper. That's all you can have sometimes. Any other thoughts, questions, concerns? Like I said, going out of town, we'll probably try to do a recap on, I think, Sunday. I might not get it out earlier. We'll see. Jumping in late. Yep. What's going on, Jay? A few people hanging out. Me and Shannon, for the most part. Went with Morgan Stanley instead. JPM, nice pop today. Yep. Let's look at Morgan Stanley. I don't know why I don't know. I just maybe feel like shorting Epstein Island. Did I say that out loud? I think I did. Oops. This is an interesting area. I dig it. Can you dig it? I can. I can definitely dig it. Can dig it. Can you dig it? Can I kick it? Yes, I can. Can I kick it? I mean, Caterpillar. I mean, it's almost like this is just, I don't know how to explain this. Other than, wow. Like, China is still an absolute mess. This thing rallied back. This is why you have to have stops, y'all. I mean, again, I don't know how many times covering cat now. You never know anything for sure. Why, how? I mean, this makes no sense. I mean, European PMI is falling off a cliff. Literally. Okay. We're next. I mean, we're already descending. China's a mess. Not good. Again, I've told you guys. It's all good, Jordan. I appreciate you jumping in. It's been kind of quiet. Just been chatting about a few things. It's just funny to me that the market is doing what it's doing, because it's like you're basically roping in everybody, and I don't know how they convinced everybody other than through the media that everything is just fine. XLF low of the day. Keep it going. All right. We'll see. We shall see. Carry. What a joke. Like, who's the dummy buying up here? But I will say, big gaps. Love to traps. We'll see. We'll see. We shall see. I mean, you're hitting some things on some levels. Again, I was talking about Costco hit this like big long-term trend line. Took my put, tried to, and literally dumped it at the open. Said screw it, don't care. I think the stock was at 642, if I remember right. It's like I'm out. Thank God. Thank God. Yeah, just one of them. It's one of them days. You would think it'd start to roll, but I mean, got some Q shorts. This AM closer to the high. Another long-term trend line. We'll see what happens. Like, everyone's anticipating the breakout. It's hard to break out when everyone's anticipating it. We'll see. A lot of folks who are in like EXP stock, and I'm like, okay. And I know Lennar had their earnings. Check this out. Not pretty. I was actually at a Lennar. What is this trend line? I don't know. Oh, okay. Lennar model home in Tinmouth, Colorado, just outside of Loveland. And they were building, and they're buying land, but they had some really good end-of-year deals, actually. They were doing a 7-year ARM, fixed ARM, a 7-year fixed with adjustable rate after balloon payment kind of potential. I mean, they were doing all sorts of things at 475. They had a model home. They were offering $35,000 below the last market price. Yep. Interesting. Amazon, a lot of bullish flow. When you say bullish flow, what is bullish flow, my man? Just reading a comment from Jay. I mean, I struggle with thinking this thing's going to break out of this area, but somebody's buying callies on it. The 150 area is like pretty powerful. A lot of candles and wicks and stuff. I mean, I've got some shorts on it. I mean, I'm pretty much dialing in to this area. This trend line. I mean, let's see what happens. Breaks out, it breaks out, I guess. Bullish flow. Don't know. Just looking at this UTHR. Some of these pharma names popped, flopped. Some kind of insight. Someone's buying a call spread for 155, 162. Oh, interesting. It's like 200 day. I mean, a lot of these like bios just boomed. I mean, it feels very chasious. Now I know people are like, oh, but look at all the money in money market accounts. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of money in there. Ain't nobody gonna argue with that. But again, why would you not stay in them if you want stability? Now, again, the biggest trap is to get people. Remember, the biggest advertisement of higher prices is higher prices, right? We'll see if they can get it. Okay. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, so sorry, just again, always getting messages. Man, if Amazon is gonna break out, this is the level. Endless messaging. All right, NDAQ, that's looking good. What a trap. What a fucking trap. I mean, pin action. So someone's buying call spreads in Amazon. It's interesting. Big dogs? I mean, what's the volume on it? I'm just curious. I don't have Taiwan Semi, low of the day. SMH, not far from it. Amazon, though, high of the day. I can't argue with that. Someone was joking, coughing on the live chat. I was like, "Oh, you just got stop smoking weed." I'm like, "You think I'd get high and try to do this? How irresponsible would that be?" Talked about usually eating edibles, part of them back in the day, but no, not now. Head cleared. Yep, you're being a puss. Good old Walmart. Interesting. You know, there's just a lot of names. It's just, I wish it was cut and dry sometimes, and it's just not. I mean, if Amazon's going nuts, why is Walmart smoking? Right? It's on fire. 10,000 for the call spread. Oh, I mean, if they're buying calls and selling, I mean, they're doing like penny on the fucking cheap, right? Big lots of cheap calls, right? So the 3 weeks out, I mean, they can't be that expensive. So, I mean, how much nominal money to buy a call spread that far out? I mean, it'd be probably one of those games where you could probably get away with a lot of them. That's the hardest thing to know for sure. Just don't know. Oh, man, going into fantasy playoffs. All my players are getting injured. This is awesome. Great. Both of my starting running backs out. Tyreek Hill, questionable. Christian Olave, questionable. Awesome. Nice season. Going down the tubes. Big lots. I'd be curious to know how much nominal cash they're spending, because it could be just one hedge fund. Do they know something? That's the question. Do they know something? I imagine they've got... I mean, is this like this is a fun... is this Congress? Congress trades? Jay Solstice, did you find the window to figure out which Congress folks are trading these? That would be spectacular. I'm laughing at that because it's just, to me, I mean, wouldn't be surprised. I feel like you look at everyone's like wealth in Congress. I mean, I'm just curious. I mean, everyone's like, all right, they made 20, 30, 40, 50 million dollars there. Everyone talks about that, right? Like, oh, they made a bunch of money. Can we not see what they did to increase their earnings, right? I mean, everybody talks about that, and it's like, well, what did they do? Can someone please explain, what did they do? What did they actually do? Correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. Where did they get all this amazing wealth from? It should be disclosed. Correct me if I'm wrong. No, right? So it should be disclosed. No bet. Don't have it. We can look at Amazon real quick. I mean, why the hell not? It just popped a little bit too. Checking just the 10-minute. I'm just curious. No, nothing. I mean, wicking for sure. Huh. Okay. 155, 162. Call spreads. All right, so this is the fib extensions. There's a gap up there. $164 to 161. So, maybe that makes sense. That doesn't have to be right, but stood out. No, of course. Never know. Oh boy, here we go into the close. 470 pin. We're gonna spy pin at 470. QQQ. We're gonna 40. Man. IWM 197.50. I think it's like Apple 97.50. Who else? Anyone else got any big obvious pins? Squeeze play right there. Yep, interesting. That's yeah, keep an eye on this. Buy a rebalance. Yep. I think they had to sell some Apple. I think they had to buy Amazon. Right? If I remember correctly, selling Amazon, selling, is it Microsoft? This rebalance. That would make sense if Amazon popped there for that. Look at the 10-minute. Again, it's just like, wow. Major VAP zone. I mean, if you're the market makers, you've been able to take out this. You've been able to do some major unloading up here. Good for them. Keep an eye on this in the close. I mean, squeeze play there. That's what I'm curious to see in the close. First solo, are you really serious? Wow. Sponsored by Zoa Energy Drinks. Pretty good. Get them at Costco. What just happened there? Anyone see that? Anyone see that? I was like, what just happened? That was kind of like a flicker. I mean, you know when you're watching the ticker and you might think it's like a miss, like, quote. I was like, what? Huh? It's like 197, whatever that was. I'm like, what? It's like, did my computers just flicker? The world just end? Like, good old Apple. Man, look at that. How many shares is that at the open? 17 million shares. Good God. Ugh. Yeah. Market makers show up. Man, what an easy job. Just show up the last 5 minutes of the day. Take your cake home and eat it for the weekend. I mean, we know they tend to act bigly with volume. There you go. There you go. Oh, I was curious, the daily. Remember we talked about it. Yeah, I mean, you're doing... Yeah, here comes the volume catching up. Remember, it was at 900 million. It's like somewhere around there. 200 million in the last 20 minutes. Curious to see the close. Any thoughts, questions, concerns as we go into it? Another couple minutes and we'll let it roll. Big picture. Yeah. This is right. The big picture rate. Sugar plums dancing in the market's heads. Cutting rates. How amazing. Everything will be fine. Yeah. Chicago President Goldman Sachs says the Fed might have to change focus to jobs. Of course they will in 2023. Thanks for talking out the seriousness. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Hard to know what exactly the close will be, but it's feeling more and more like 470. What y'all seeing? What y'all thinking? Anything, again, is anyone seeing something? Because if you're watching other stuff, I would not be surprised. United, I'll see the one tonight. Just curious, IWM. The fins popped? Yeah, a little bit. I see that. A little bit. IWM popped too, right? Little pop in the fins, little pop in the financials, pop in the little IWMs. Whoa. Here comes an avalanche. Jeez. What a gift, man. Maybe one last pop, I agree, Jay. Maybe even Tuesday. Who the hell knows? I mean, look at this, man. Just 150 million shares. I mean, you got to be... Unreal, right? Got 30 seconds, something left. There you go, Apple closed. I mean, this is what's OPEX games here. I mean, closing. Excuse me. Apple going to close low of the day. Look at this volume. Look at that candle. I mean, look at that candle. Look at that. Oh. I mean, everything tanked, right? Look at this candle. Good God. Oh, what happened? ENPH up 3% today? I haven't checked that out in a while. These solar names get real juicy. Yeah, I mean, you guys know as well as I do. I mean, the market makers are like, they're playing their games. And people are like, oh, but no, down. This is a bull market. Okay, I mean, it feels very like 2008, 2000, whatever, in 1973, where everyone just gets excited and then they just pull the rug. I mean, look at that 10-minute. Just look at that. Look at that. Oops. Oh, where'd all the volume go? Someone. Well, that doesn't look right. We got redraw. So in the daily, we ended up doing what? Thought 1.2 billion. Oh, there we go. Dinger. I mean, look at this stuff, man. 2 monster dojis on huge volume at the high. If this isn't the top, then I mean, then we got to squeeze the going. Right? Yeah, exactly. Look at that shit. Unreal. Average day, last 30 days, average volume, 740 million shares. We're doing 1.2. Who is selling up here? But who's buying? That's the better question. How many hedge funds blew out today? Not today, but this week, you think? Just curious what Oxy did. Man, Buffett's buying more shares and he just doesn't care. Bopped. Buffett's like, yeah, I'll just sell more calls. Unreal. Maybe he's buying a put spread. Like so cheap. I don't know. Buffett's the man. Buffett is the man. IWM. Good God. Goo. That was at a bottom. That was at a short-term bottom. I mean, man, some big volume right here. I have to keep, again, I mean, it's like, man, if you're trying to unload, you need volume. RCB, arr. Seriously, right? So, all right. Again, if you have any questions, hit me up real quick. If not, wrap it up. See you guys on Sunday. Going to Steamboat, going to Copper. Gonna do a little snow riding. Gonna not really shred any POW. Everyone's like, oh, they got a bunch of snow up there. I'm like, man, they needed it. I mean, they're 45% coverage, which that's great. I mean, December 15th. Season's been a month, essentially. I mean, I'd love to see, I mean, as you guys know how it goes, like, you're not gonna get the dumper. Not gonna get the dumper always that you wish for. But let's look at the open snow. I'm just waiting for any questions coming in. Yeah, there's nothing really coming. Nothing coming. That's all right. It always comes, though, in the end. If you build it, they will come. Right? If you know that line. I think some of you guys know that line. If you build it, they will come. Movie with Kevin Costner. I'll keep giving more hints until someone answers it. Movie was filmed in what was perceived to be Iowa in cornfields. Oh, okay. Field of Dreams. I'll just say it. So, all right. Yep. Oh, no, you got it. Hey, man, I don't know if everyone's watched that movie, right? How many people have actually seen that? I'd be curious. I mean, I don't know about Jay. How old are you, man? I mean, I don't feel old, but when I start thinking about things, the way that kids are today, and I guess you never really think about it. Okay, yeah. Remember when you were in your like 20s and you're like, man, 40-year-olds, you're like, oh, they're not that much older. Now I look at the current 20-year-olds, I'm like, you guys have, like, you weren't even born, and this is again how everyone feels at some point. You weren't even born when some of this stuff was coming out. Everything now is like a retread of an old idea. I mean, what's a new What's a new idea of anything going on right now? I guess there's nothing, really. I wonder if every generation feels like this. We had the best actors, and we had the best music, and we had the best this. I'm like, kind of feels like the new entertainment's kind of crap. I mean, think about if you were born like Jay, when I just, grew up in the 80s and 90s as kids. And then you saw the 2000s, which were probably the peak of, I don't know, wouldn't say music. Yeah, 90s R&B, can't touch that. I mean, you can't touch 70s rock, 80s music just in general is like its own genre. It's so like poppy and happy. 90s rap, 90s pop. I mean, you had, like when Pearl Jam was rocking, Metallica, Nirvana. I mean, everybody was doing really well. Yeah, the synthesizers. Yeah, I mean, we could go into this topic for the next 20 minutes. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I try to listen to some of the music. There's some good stuff out there here and there, but yeah, I've been starting to only watch old movies. Yeah, I'm getting tired of Hollywood's pop-ups. Yeah. Did y'all know this? I heard this. Let's be controversial. So they used to record music in the 432 hertz range because it was more like pleasant to the ear. They stopped doing that, and it's more of a chaotic recording. I can't remember what it was, but someone was trying to say that since 432 was like a frequency of that your brain would find coherence with, that music resonated better, which is actually funny. It's like, oh, that music resonates better with me. Well, now the new music, I don't think they record it in those spectrums, and so that's where it's like maybe folks like who are older hear it, and it's like, makes my brain kind of like, oh, it sounds like crap. Has anyone heard this? Am I the only one? Again, I don't go down deep rabbit holes. People send me stuff. And that was one of the things that, again, if you have to go, you have to go. I'll just wrap it up here in a second. But that was a very interesting dynamic that they used to record music in different spectrums that were more appealing to the brain frequencies. And they stopped doing that because, I don't know, because they want us to eat crickets, same kind of shit. The music wasn't as therapeutic. This is the conspiracy theorist telling me and talking about this, but I remember them telling me, I'm like, it's hard to argue when I listen to new music and it's like, it gives me a headache. Am I the only one? Am I the only one? Yeah, lots of volume the last 2 days, no doubt. New music is just like, yeah, there are YouTube videos. Yep. Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I listen to new stuff, but it's just, again, has anyone heard that theory? Know about this? I feel like there's always someone who's like involved in something that I don't know. And again, I'm one of those people where I don't mind. If you have an opinion, I will listen to you. Do I have to agree with you? No. Just like you don't have to agree with me. Respectfully. Yeah, it's very chaotic. That's maybe the best way to describe it, Shen. It's chaotic. So it doesn't resonate well with me. But I grew up kind of spoiled. My mom played piano and always had like classical music and the Beatles on. A lot of like, I think my dad was really big into Chicago. Yeah, no, he was. Chicago, I don't know. Think of all those bands in the 70s that were just like very happy-go-lucky. Or just, I don't know, real music maybe. The birth of this stuff. Okay, it's not in the 440. Okay. Yep. Yeah, Chicago, Phil Collins, definitely Genesis, all that kind of crap. Yep. Mm-hmm. Heard a lot of that. Mom and dad loved the Beatles a lot. Yep. Today's music's pretty crappy, but not because of the current. Okay. Well, Mel, I would agree with you. Most of it's pretty crappy. Okay. Love you guys. Have a great weekend. If you have any questions before I go, wrap it up. I mean, again, if you're paying attention next week, here, I'll just I probably shouldn't share this, but here's the economic calendar real quick. Yeah. Genesis. Gotta love some of these good bands. Next Friday is going to be a banger. Thursday and Friday. So we do have some decent information. So hope that helps. Keep that in mind. If you're out of Chicago, yeah, I mean, it's just funny because some of these bands that I'm just like, I could go back and listen to their whole albums. They're great. So getting old, whatever. Still feel young. Be safe out there. Let's talk next. I'll probably try to do something Sunday. I appreciate you guys. Peace.